Okay, guys, we're back. You just heard the bio of this gentleman that I have right here, and you've heard so many different things about the body. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the mind. I want to welcome Hitesh to the call. Hitesh, how are you, sir?
Thank you very much, Noel. I'm doing good, pretty good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So you're really going to talk about the mental health aspect of things, and it's really a journey. What's the name of your organization?
The name of our organization is Journey to Recovery. It's a mental health service provider that we are just starting up. Hopefully, we should be up and running in about 3 months. It's going to be
Okay.
on a virtual platform versus in person. We're starting out virtually, and I'll tell you why. I've noticed, and this is strictly my opinion, but I've noticed that it goes half and half. Some people are more comfortable in an objective setting in a clinician's office. A lot of people are more comfortable and more open to open up in their own home.
Mm,
You know, my home is my sanctuary. My
right.
home is my comfort place. So a lot of people like to get therapy from the comfort of their own home because that's where they feel most comfortable opening up.
So what service are you gonna when you talk about in your own home? Is this a
Mhm.
virtual thing
Yes.
or okay? All right,
It's
all
going to be a
right.
virtual thing. We're going to start out virtually. We will have office space available in the near future, but right now, especially because of the pandemic that we're going through and all the social distancing that needs to be that has to be taken in place, that we're going to start virtually.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. Well, you know what virtual is going to be pretty much the leading way of communicating,
Yes, sir.
especially after this pandemic, because it gave everybody, we have already the technology,
Hmm.
everything is already in place. It was just what we were used to. And I believe we're now creating habits
Hmm.
more in a virtual situation because of social distancing. So
Hmm.
I think that's a great way to launch. So, what are you going to talk to us about today, Hitesh?
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the business, about our organization, and as well as bringing awareness and education about mental health to society. I personally feel like it's a stigma still to talk about mental health. It's taboo. I'll give you a personal experience of mine. I do see a clinician, I do see a therapist regularly because of my personal experiences in the past year and a half. Unfortunately, I was diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer in May of last year.
Mm,
Prior to that, I had just gotten out of a very long term relationship. And so to take all of this on a mental and emotional forefront, I thought if anytime I have a problem, I tell myself I got this. Yeah, I did not have this.
right.
I needed assistance, and a very good friend of mine had he had talked to me about it and suggested I go see somebody. I was hesitant at first, but with his help, I did find a great clinician that's assisting me in my journey and getting over hurdles and this and that on the mental and emotional forefront, which, to tell you the truth, has helped me physically as well. My oncologist and my team of professionals has told me that in order to fight this and be successful and get through it and get rid of it, you need to be a positive person. You need to be positive. You
Mm.
need to stay positive. Do not go to a dark place. And so when I was asked to come aboard for this venture, Journey to Recovery, this mental health service provider, I'm a businessman by career. For me, originally it's about all about return on investment, ROI. But this turned out to be a passion project of mine because not only am I on one side of the fence, being an administrator and manager of this business, but I'm also a patient of a clinician.
Right.
And when you're on both sides of the fence, you gain a much clearer picture of what needs to be done.
It becomes more purposeful from
Yes,
that
very
standpoint.
much so. And
Absolutely.
my purpose is to bring awareness and education to the community about how important mental health is and how important of a part it plays on physical health. And that goes hand in hand. It goes both ways. Physical health improves your mental health. Mental health improves your physical health.
Absolutely. They do go together. And that's why we're doing this health summit. And we're showing even the spiritual side of things, right? So it's not
Faith,
even
yes.
absolutely. So it's all together. And it's not what you just believe. It's not about a right or wrong. It's just
Hmm.
bringing it all together so you can be whole and complete. So
Yes,
when
sir.
you talk about the awareness part of things, well, do you have some tips for us on how to be aware? So, because you had an aha moment
Hmm.
that, you were really going through the same motions that you usually go through to tackle a problem, to overcome an obstacle, and you figured out at some point in time that you really didn't have it. Did you
Hmm.
have some tips of awareness for us today?
Yeah, I do. It's very important. If you're not seeing a clinician or if you don't seek assistance, self care.
Okay.
Taking out the time to do something that makes you smile, that gets those endorphins going, something that's going to calm you, meditation, yoga, watching mindless TV and having a laugh, something that to break out of the norm in order to keep you grounded,
And
you
the
know.
people that know me know that they can call me and have a mindless conversation and still laugh. Is what
Me
it
too.
is.
Me too. I mean, in fact, when I start to talk, forgive me, but I may start to go all across the board, Nolan. You may have to reel me back in. Okay.
No worries, man. No
Yes,
worries.
sir. But
So,
yeah,
so
there's a
self
lot of
care
things
is
you can
really
do.
big. Self care is really big, and there's a lot of tips on this summit that's really self care based to
Mhm.
where you can implement this and implement that. And I want people to be aware, and I want you to even talk about it from a mental health standpoint. One of
Sure.
the ways that we sabotage ourselves is that we see all of these things that we want or feel that we need to do, and we
Mhm.
try to implement them all at one time. And that's more of a stressful situation than just taking the baby steps of making it a habit, then seeing how that feels,
Mhm.
implementing that, and step by step growing instead of growing too fast and then coming and crashing down.
Sure. Yeah, and that's why, again, that's the name of our organization. We concentrate on the journey,
Yes.
not the finish line. Again, when I first started seeing a therapist, I told myself, okay, 3 to 5 months and I should be good. Yeah, that was not the case at all. It's like peeling an onion. There's different layers involved. And the
Right.
digger you deep, the deeper you dig, the more aware of yourself you become. And the
Mhm.
more potential there is for you to fill your full potential. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Again, I'll give you my personal example. In the past year and a half, got diagnosed with colorectal cancer. During my second round of chemo treatment, my body must have not liked the distribution of chemo through my body, formed a blood clot, and I had a heart attack
Oh, wow.
in October of last year. This year, I had the tumor removed in January, but there were unforeseen complications after they, sewed me back up. Three days later, I was rushed into emergency surgery because there was internal bleeding that was not made aware of.
Oh, wow.
And then I had my reversal surgery May 8th, which went great. But the day before that surgery, which was I thought was going to be my final surgery, I got news that the cancer has spread into my lungs. So I'm in round two of my battle. Now I'm
Mm,
fighting cancer in my lungs. It's not lung cancer, it's colorectal cancer that has spread into my lungs. So originally, I felt like I was taking 3 steps forward and 5 steps back.
mm,
But with the assistance of my therapist and getting me over these emotional and mental hurdles associated with what I've been through in the year and a half, now
mhm.
I feel like I'm taking 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, which is progress in the right direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes it's really just a mindset of how we look at things,
Sure.
because when you look at certain things and you feel as if you're getting nowhere, that adds a lot of frustration
It
to
really does.
that recipe of success, right? So
Mhm.
whatever that recipe of success is, that I need to do this, I need to do that, when you really cannot see any progress, and
Mhm.
everything that you're doing seems like you're taking those 5 steps back, like you were
Mhm.
talking about, man, you just got to see at least a little bit. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel. So
Sure.
if there is no light, you roll over and die in the tunnel.
9
So
times out of 10, you are correct. Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. So so as you talk about meditation and all of those things, do you do all of those things?
I do. I take time out of the day in the morning and in the evening to pray and meditate,
Okay.
especially in the evening, because before I started doing all this, sorry about that, thought I
No, no
silenced my
problem.
phone. Before I started doing all this, I would spend probably about 45 minutes on on the phone and my iPad before going to sleep, and that just was not productive at all. You know,
Mm,
you need to wind down. You need to turn off the electronic devices, and what's helped me to do that is meditating and praying before I go to bed. It
right.
calms me down. It brings me peace, and I've been able to sleep better. Again, during all of this battles that I've been going through, it has caused such anxiety that I would not be able to sleep. And
Mm,
there's still some cases, some nights that I can't sleep because I cannot turn off my mind. The anxiety is there. Uh, Um, just yesterday, I met with my surgeon, who has cleared me for surgery. We're gonna go in and get these cancer cells out of my lungs. It's gonna be two surgeries because they can't do both at the same time. And these two surgeries this year will make a total of five surgeries that I've gone through this year alone.
right.
And I don't care how many surgeries you go through. I feel like you go through the same emotions right now, knowing that I got this coming up September 15th. I'm excited, I'm nervous, and I'm scared at the same time.
Right.
You know, and so, like I said, meditating, just shutting down the mind, thinking about something and focusing on something that brings you joy. And I got this advice actually from my therapist. You know, and you, I went through two previous therapists before this third one. So you don't have to just see one therapist. If you don't fit well with that therapist or that clinician, you're not obligated to stay with them. You have to find what works for you.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna put it in a little analogy that may make you smile, right?
Sure. I
And
can always smile.
so the thing that kills me about people is that they'll try something and then they'll say that didn't work and they give up. But they
Mhm.
never do that when it comes to dating, right? Like
Well,
nobody
yeah, of
dates,
course
right?
not.
No, right. Nobody dates one person and say, you know what, relationships suck. It's just not for me, and I'm not
Right.
going to be in a relationship ever again. They
Sure
go to
thing.
the next person.
Hmm.
So from what I'm gathering is that the first two wasn't a fit for you,
Right.
and then you found somebody
Right.
because everybody is different. Some of it has to do with the chemistry and our level to relate to each other for
Right.
that therapist to really work well. Because my wife's a therapist, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So I totally get it, right? She
Hmm.
just got a master's. I think she's going to go and get a PhD. But from that standpoint, everybody's not a fit. So
No.
you need to keep going, just like you do with dating. People will
Mm.
date three people in 1 month and just be like, Johnny sucked, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Bill, I hate Bill, right?
Right.
They'll go to one therapist and say, you know what, the therapy thing doesn't work for me.
Therapy's not for me.
Exactly. It
And
doesn't,
you know
or it
what?
doesn't work on me. That's what
Right.
it is. Therapy doesn't work on me.
I've met a few people who have been through five therapists and went back to the second one they went to because after five, the, it because each therapist had a different philosophy and different
Right.
um, way of attacking any issues. Then he figured out that the second one he went to was the best fit. It was
Right.
a process of elimination. So just like dating,
I was just about to say
sometimes you
that.
date three people or four people, and you're like, you know what? That second dude wasn't that bad.
Right,
Let me
right,
see.
right.
Let me go back and see what goes on.
I was just about to say, I really like Tasha now that I know. I had no
There you
idea. Like
go.
Tasha was the one for me, and you come back on your knees like Tasha, I'm sorry. Like I had
Right.
no idea,
Yeah.
right?
Let's see what happens. Let's have a few sessions and see where it goes.
Absolutely,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean?
So as you talk about that, when you
Mhm.
talk about your own journey,
Yes, sir.
and then you starting a business with it, that makes things so much more purposeful from a
It
standpoint
is. It
of
does.
literally this has changed your life, and
Hmm.
you see what this has meant and the impact it's had, and now I want to change other lives.
I
So
do. It's all about helping people. It
right.
is.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that because my team, Justice League, big shout out,
know?
which is everybody on this call, including you. You're going to be one of the you're literally the newest member to Justice League.
Yes, sir.
We do three things. We give people the opportunity to save money, people the opportunity to make money, and we give people the opportunity to help people because it's really all about helping people. So we've kind of figured out how to do that. So man, anything else you want to say before we get to the last part of the segment?
Yeah, about again, a big part of our organization is going to be bringing in business and bringing in clientele that want help, but we're going to bring them in through awareness and education.
Okay.
It's very important to educate the public about mental health and emotional health and get them to feel comfortable about it. Because, again, especially in minority cultures, it's such a taboo subject, and it
Yes.
shouldn't be.
Right.
It should be it should be on the same forefront as your medical health, as your physical health. You know,
Right. Right.
and I don't know if this is. I mean, I'm not stating facts; it's just my opinion. But I feel like it's even more difficult for men to go to a clinician or a therapist. They
It
feel
is.
intimidated. They feel insecure about it.
They
There's no
feel weak.
insecurity.
They
Exactly. They
feel
feel
weak.
weak.
Yep.
It's and it's not weakness. It's strength. To be
Yeah.
vulnerable is a strength.
Absolutely.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
The thing about with men is that, it's a lot of macho, a lot of testosterone, a lot of,
Mhm.
I can do it and you can, and now you're less of a man. And
Alpha
the thing,
male.
right, exactly. But the thing about Justice League is that we really feel as if each person has their own superpower.
Hmm.
So just because you may need help with this doesn't mean that you don't have a superpower. I'm not here to judge how great a goldfish can climb a tree. That's
Hmm.
not his superpower, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
totally out of. So
I like that.
everybody's
I like
right.
that.
So everybody's made different, and so what we do as a team is we find each other's superpowers.
Hmm.
So when we see what our weaknesses are, we can literally build with the person that's their superpower. But
Hmm.
everybody shines. So it's never a situation of saying, "Oh, I can run, 100-yard dash, and this time I can fix a car and I can bench press this." But you're not the best father in the world, right? Like you're not. So it's so many different things that we can do, and as men sometimes. But I think that stigma is starting to be released a little bit. It's not. It's starting to be lifted a little bit. It's not as much as it was back in the day. In the 50s, you
Hmm.
had to, smoke cigarettes, ride motorcycles, and whoop ass. Like, and if you could,
Exactly.
right, and if you couldn't do that on some, what's Dean? What's the actor's name? It's Dean. I can't think of Dean
Hmm.
something or something Dean. That he was riding a motorcycle, and it was just all the motorcycle gang and this, that, and the other, and
Yeah.
and so you know what? So many times society judges what this person should be and or look like. And if you don't do that, then you've either failed or you're weak to where that's really what creates the person that you are and your role, right?
Correct. Correct.
So
The stereotype that comes with it.
absolutely,
Like you
absolutely.
said, from a male perspective, back in the day, if you didn't flex the hardest,
Right.
you weren't worth anything.
Right.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? It's
Exactly.
like from that movie. I forget the name of the movie, but they say if you're not first, you're last.
Right.
Uh, Talladega
Talladega Nights.
Nights.
Yep.
Yes, if you're
Talladega
not
Nights.
first, you're last. You know
Shake
what
and
I mean?
bake, baby.
Shake and
Shake and
bake,
bake.
baby.
Little baby Jesus. I can pray to
That's
any form of Jesus I want to pray to. You see what I'm saying?
exactly, exactly. And
Man.
again, I mean, and I'm excited to be part of your organization, and I look forward to trying out the product because, again,
Absolutely.
for me personally, um, you know, like I said before I was diagnosed, I lost 25 pounds on my own.
Hmm.
When I started getting on chemo and stuff like that, I was down to 186, which the doctors got worried.
Mm.
Again, I do not recommend the chemo diet to anybody. You can lose weight other ways. Do not take chemo if you don't have to, because
Right,
you'll
right.
lose weight. But man, it's a monster, you
Yeah,
know. And so
yeah.
I'm looking forward to having this product help me on the forefront of my medical issues and physical prowess, so that I can stay physically fit in order to take the chemo in the future. Because I'm not done yet. I'm going to
Right.
have more cycles of chemo to go. And the doctors have stressed that in order to be able to take the chemo, you're going to have to be healthy. And this product, Somaderm, the Somaderm gel, it's
Hmm.
going to help me on the physical forefront. It's going to help me on the mental forefront and the emotional forefront. It's
Absolutely.
going to help me reach my full potential on that aspect in order to keep going, keep fighting, and eventually beat this sucker.
Absolutely. Now, this thing has helped so many people that's on this summit today.
Mhm,
And some of the other people that's coming up. You talked about sleep. I don't know if you and I talked about it.
mhm.
The first thing it does is help you sleep. It gives you that REM sleep and that rest so your body can really rebuild. But you said something else
That's
earlier
great,
from a,
actually. Because
huh?
that's great, actually, because the melatonin and the ZQL ain't working, man.
That you talked about you being a businessman,
Mhm.
the return on investment in this and implementing this into your business, and our team is going to help you do that, is absolutely phenomenal.
If anybody has any questions about our organization, want to get in touch with us, I can give you my phone number, which is 832-541-4251, or my email address, which is my first name, Hitesh. It's HITESHKP80 at gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. If not about if not about a consultation with a clinician, if you just want some general information about mental health awareness, mental health, emotional health, and stuff like that, we would love to talk to you, educate you, get you aware. And even on the insurance side, because a lot of people don't realize this, but just because you have medical insurance doesn't mean you have insurance for mental health. A
Mm,
lot of people assume that. And again, working with my partners in this venture, every time I talk to them, it's been an eye-opening experience from mental health and insurance side. We would love to help you out in any facet, any way possible. Um, and that's about it. Again, success through awareness and education.
absolutely. Hey guys, you guys are tuned in to Bio Bootcamp Live. That's Bio Bootcamp Live. We are doing some big things. We're educating people, giving awareness, giving tips, hopefully giving you some different insight of things that you can implement into your lives right now that
Mhm.
can make your lives better. I'm Nolan Davis. I'm coming right back with the next person that I'm going to interview. See you in 1 second.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you very much, Nolan. I appreciate it.